left side of your seat to go ahead and adjust your seat accordingly.
Where are we now? We're at LAX?
Yeah, we're on the runway.
Traffic.
Alright, so I'm just gonna put in a flight plan onto our computers here, see us going. And we're on the runway here, so we'll have to start up the engines, get this stuff in here. This is all the stuff that we do before you guys really get onto the airplane. We put in all the weights and stuff for the airplane, letting you know how much we weigh, things like that.
Quick question, I've always wanted to know what causes the turbulence?
Just this non-smoothness in the air. Sometimes the air is not smooth and we just hit it, and just like driving over a bumpy road. No difference there.
Have you ever flown a 737 for real?
No. I don't really have any desire to. No, haven't flown it, but know a bit about it. I mean, the other two instructors are used to fly it. And one of my friends, he comes in here all the time. He's training on it for United Airlines on the 900, and we go through his flows and stuff. So it's kind of cool. I get to learn how United flies their 737s. They're very, very automated at United.
And which software do you guys use for the actual flying?
This is Flight Sim 10.
So we're flying on Windows, so we might just crash anyway. You ever fly X-Plane?
I had it for a while, just for general aviation stuff, because it's more flight dynamic characteristic, like accurate. But for the big stuff, I have FS10 at home, but I haven't flown in like a year or 2 years, just because it's, you know, I do it as a living, and the last thing I really want to do is come home and play on the simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had all the add-ons and stuff for my flight sim, stuff like that.
So that's the engine starting now?
Yeah, number one.
What is that thing that spins sometimes to the left of the
Right here?
left and right of the, yeah, exactly.
Trim wheel. Lets me know where the elevator trim tab is positioned, and it deflects air up and down to move the nose up and down, so we don't have to hold this so much.
So it's manipulating the center of gravity a little bit.
Not necessarily. It's just manipulating the position of the elevator to hold the nose up or down wherever we need it to be. Alright, give it a second here for the flaps to come down. Here we start the system so we can get this off.
Cool, huh, Josh?
Very cool, but I may be very shitty at first. But I'll give it a shot. This is going to be cooked. So this also does that.
Yep.
With the airplane that we're taking on tomorrow, is it Southwest?
No, we're going to be on U.S. Airways. We're going to be on a slightly smaller jet than a 737. It's called a CRJ. It's rebooting something.
One of the systems failed, which didn't cause my elevator to go off. So we'll go ahead and take off. So the way that we need to take off is we have our throttles right here. We do an auto throttle takeoff, meaning we let the autopilot do throttles for us. And in order to engage that system, there's a little black button right here. See it? If you press that down, it automatically will add power to our takeoff power setting of 93.6% power today.
So that's what we're doing, we're pressing that button?
Yep, you press that button, it automatically adds full power. Well, not full power, just enough power for our takeoff power setting. People think airplane, we just slam the throttles where we don't. The airplane won't even go to 100% power, really, on takeoff. We only go at max to like 98.6% power. Okay, because we don't want to run the engines that hard. Otherwise, they get too hot, we have problems, things like that. So when you hit that button, it goes up to 93% power because I have a D-rated takeoff here. We're not using a normal takeoff power setting. The engines have 26,000 pounds of thrust on them. We're only using 24,000 pounds of thrust. That's because we have such a long runway. I don't need to use a whole bunch of power and run the engine super hard. It keeps maintenance costs down, things like that. So you hit the button, it adds full power. We'll be traveling down the runway. You have both your hands on the yoke here. When I say the words rotate, you're going to pull the yoke back here to bring the nose up. And then you're going to see the pink bars come up on here, the flight director system. And you're just going to bring the nose into the pink bars. They're going to keep your wings level so you won't have to turn the airplane because we're just going to fly runway heading first. And you're going to bring the nose up to about 15 degrees. And that's where the pink bars will have you go. Okay? And then we'll go from there. So whenever you're ready, hit the black button. Slightly in a right-hand turn, so go a little to the left.
Other left.
So now the aircraft is reducing its airspeed and climb power. I'm going to have you lower the nose now for 2,000 feet per minute on the climb rate. Now I'm going to go to manual power to add my climb power in here of 88% power. And here's your vertical bar heading select. Now the aircraft will start to accelerate now. Okay, don't go below the bar. Just bring your nose up. There you go. 180 knots. This one we pull the flaps up to 1. Now we're going to make a right hand turn at 090 degrees. And you're going to see your vertical bar guide you to the right. And when we make the turn, you're going to have to hold the nose up a little bit because airplanes, they want to descend when you make a turn. There you go. Through 210, we'll pull the flaps up now.
So he's all manual right now?
All manual.
Not a very too steep bank angle?
No.
Looks like we're like 60 degrees or more.
No, we're 30.
Looks like it's really weird.
Bank angle.
So you're getting past 30 degrees of bank because you're not following your flight rate.
So bank angle.
So you want to go up and to the left like this.
You're making the passengers throw off, Josh.
And you're going too high with it. You only want to be right here. See where the pink cross is?
Yeah.
You want to move the black box to the cross.
Bring it down now.
Oh, where's your pink cross? Right up here. You move the black box with the yoke here. This is black, your nose is black. This moves the black, not the pink, okay? You're going the wrong way. We want to go this way. See that? Right to the cross. You gotta hold it there. You can't just let it there. You can't get it there and then let go of the yoke. You're gonna have to hold it. That's part of hand flying. Okay, it's rough. You be real nice and sweet. You don't have to have a death grip with it. Just be real nice and gentle on the yoke. You know, relax your grip a little bit. Just be relaxed with it. Flying isn't supposed to be stressful. We're supposed to be here and we're just hold the turns, right? You make a smooth turn. Just like when we pull the nose up. It's an altitude deviation alert. It's letting us know that we've deviated more than 200 feet off our altitude.
That's not a good thing.
Not a great thing. LNAV is going to guide you to the left to get onto our route here.
I'm trying to find, you say to the left?
To the left. See how your vertical bars to the left? Alright, all you need to be looking at and focusing on is keeping the black box right when you're trying to bring across the air.
Banking. Banking.
Opposite of what you're doing. There you go. Now see how we're going across now? There you go. Again, this moves the box, not the cross. Okay, we always got to be on the cross.
What's the thing that's flashing red on the above the MFB?
Auto throttle disconnect button, because I disconnected our auto throttles a while back. So you're too steep on the climb here. There you go. See that? And the aircraft is having you level off now. See how the bar jumped down?
Yeah.
Because we should be flying level now because we're at 5,000 feet.
I'm going to try to get level.
Yeah, try and get level here. Remember how I said level flight's about 2.5 to 5 degrees above the horizon. We're in the ground, which means we're falling very quickly.
Not that fast, George.
We need to be right about here. Look at the altitude. See how it's not really doing anything?
Yeah.
This is about level flight. Right here. You have to hold it here. You'd have to be able to fly 5 or 15 hours just like this, holding it here. What if your autopilot broke and you're over the middle of the ocean? You're hand flying. You know, we're supposed to do this. This is how it's like, hand flying. I fly airplanes every day that don't have autopilots on them. I've flown across the country in an airplane that didn't have an autopilot.
No autopilot.
No autopilot. I pull a circuit breaker with my students so they don't get to use the autopilot. I don't let students use autopilot. This is how we fly. Autopilots are too relied on nowadays. I've flown across the country and back like 4 times without using an autopilot. I've flown at 36,000 feet without an autopilot. This is how we fly. This is making us... The flight director on there is telling us how to fly the airplane. The autopilot would be doing just what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So why can't we hand fly? Right? If we can fly just like an autopilot, no need for it.
Surprised that they have a button for the voice recorder so close by that you can just turn it off.
Yeah.
So where are we now? We're like over Pomona or something?
Probably over downtown LA or so, just past that.
Downtown LA?
Maybe USC or so, yeah. Okay, now we can put on autopilot so you can see what the autopilot is. Take both your hands off here, just let go of it. And then hit this button right there, C and D. Okay, now you put the aircraft in command mode.
Command mode, yes, indeed.
And this sort of status bar up here lets me know what modes the autopilot is currently in. So we're in MCP speed mode, because the airplane's flying the airspeed on the MCP. We're in LNAV mode. LNAV is tracking to Pomona, the first waypoint, which is right where we're flying to. It's in vertical speed mode, climbing at 250 feet per minute, 250 on vertical speed to get us to 5,000 feet up here. Okay? Now it's acquired the altitude, so it will manually level off to maintain 5,000 feet. And there it goes. It's maintaining 5,000 now. Got rid of the vertical speed. That's what's happening. Okay, now for going into Orange County, we need to figure out our landing airspeed. So we come to the computer, go to init ref, flap setting of 40 is what we're going to use, which gives us a landing speed of 136 knots. We place that right there in the speed.
Yeah.
The ILS frequency for the ILS is 111.75. The ILS is what we're going to do when we get into Orange County. It's the instrument landing system. It will guide us and line us up for the runway, and it will give us a vertical descent path to descend on for the runway. Okay? So we have to put 111.75 on the navigation radio down here. Use these knobs right here. The small knob does the second two, the big knob does the first three. You put 111.75 on there. And then you're going to transfer it over to active. And then you're going to put the approach course to the runway 195 with the course knob right up here. 195. Now you're going to set the automatic rigs to 2 for landing in Orange County. Okay, now you're going to hit heading select.
Heading select?
Yep. You're going to turn the airplane to 120 on the heading. You're going to slow us down to 220 on the airspeed. Now we have to engage a descent, dial that down to 4,000 feet. Vertical speed, dial that up for down and put minus 500 feet on the window.
Minus how much, sorry?
500. Okay, now dial this to 130.
Basically making a slow right turn.
Yeah. Turn our landing lights on right there. And the other one. These are the runway turn-off lights. They have to be on. Flip those down and on. Taxi light goes on. The ignition goes one click right into continuous mode.
This goes into continuous.
And the other one as well. Good. And seatbelt sign goes on.
Fasten seatbelts.
That's off.
Oh.
It was already on because it was an auto. Below 14,000 feet, it automatically leaves the light on, but we just flick it on to give them the alert. The buzz. That lets them know that that's a final call to start cleaning up stuff in the back.
And why
no
is it
smoking?
Yeah, I was gonna say, why is there still a no smoking sign?
It doesn't matter, it's hardwired on.
Oh,
so it doesn't matter what I do with this, it's gonna stay on in the back, they hardwired on. They don't, this panel is the same overhead that's on a 737-100 that came out in like the 60s. Same overhead.
Why isn't it?
So now you're gonna hit the approach APP.
And Josh, when you want coffee, you call the flight attendant right here.
Okay, we're 21 miles away from the airport, that's where this number says right here. Now be careful with your hands on the yoke here. If you hit this yoke, it's going to disconnect the autopilot. That too, but if you move it, it'll disconnect the autopilot, so be careful. Okay?
It's like changing the what do they call the thing in your car? Cruise control.
Yeah, but you step on your brake, you're giving it 2 different signals, right? On this, you're like, I want a hand fly, but the autopilot thinks it's flying, so it gives you authority.
Yeah.
Okay, now dial the heading to 150. It's going to be our intercept heading. It's intercepting the localizer now, so it's lining us up with the runway. It's in VOR localizer mode. So now the airplane is turning to line us up with the runway. Now we need to set this up for this approach heading in the event we abort the landing. It's going to be 195 on the heading. We're going to fly runway heading if we abort.
195.
Yep. Now you're going to lower the flaps right here to 5. You pull it up, because it locks in place here. Pull it up, and then down to 5.
I always thought the pilot would just do this. So I have no clue about planning.
No, he does, yeah.
Crazy.
In real life, they might be hand flying right now, who knows. But I have this on autopilot because the autopilot gets nice and stabilized on the approach. It's comfortable, we'll disconnect at about 1,000 feet and hand fly. That's more common than what they do to cruise. So this is our glide slope diamond. That diamond, when it hits the dash, we automatically start descending using the glide path.
Okay.
The glide path will bring the plane's wheels to the runway, the touchdown zone to the runway. So because we're at 1 dot deflection, is what we call that when it gets to the second dot, we lower the landing gear. So you take the landing gear, pull it out and down. box on here.
Okay.
There's a center to it, so we're centered up there. We're about 7 miles out. Now we pull SEAC to landing airspeed 141. Right up here, bring the SEAC to 141. And now we can lower the flaps all the way down to 40, up and all the way down.
I don't see the runway.
It's directly off the nose now, coming in the sight.
Now, Orange County has 1 or 2 runways, I forget.
It's got 2. Okay, we'll do the landing checklist. And gears down, green, flat 40, 40 green, auto brakes on 2. That's our checklist. So there's the runway right off the nose. See it? Straight right ahead of us. 5 miles out. Now this is how it looks when we land, because right now our nose is slightly high. We don't get to see too much because we come in like this, okay?
And how do you know you're 5 miles out?
The DME on here. And the GPS DME.
Okay.
Distance measuring equipment, I think. 1,000 feet.
So we'll disconnect now. You hit the red button on the left hand side twice. Hand flying, we gotta be real gentle with stuff right now. Very, very subtle inputs on here. Okay? So start by flying the flight director. We gotta go a little to the right here. Keep the nose down just a hair. Now come a little to the left. Good. Now let's look outside the window. We're gonna fly right to the runway. You want to put the runway break between us. Okay? Pull the nose up just a little bit. We're just saying a little too quickly. A little bit more. There you go. Just like that.
You don't want to land on the floor.
Okay, a little to the left. Not too much, right? A little to the right now. Just like this.
300.
Keep it coming down, just like don't change a thing. Okay, slowly bring your nose up, nice and easy. All you gotta do, don't go any higher.
30, 20, 10.
Okay, pull these 2 levers back like pull the yoke.
That's it, probably just slowing it down.
Okay, push those all the way down now. All the way down.
Good job, Josh. You did a lot better than
I
I did.
think I'm gonna cut it in real life.
There you go. I'm gonna get us off the runway here using our feet down here.
I didn't do as good my first time. I bounced.
Yeah, in Orange County, we don't really bring the nose up too high on the landing. We just plane it down. Mainly on this airplane, too, we got to worry about tail strikes, too. That's why we didn't flare too high. Alright, we'll just come to a stop here. And I'm going to get him and I into Maui. Well, that was nuts.
What you think, Josh?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.